Okay, I think that might be it. Excuse me. Ugh. Ugh. No, I guess that's not. That was a little much. I'm sorry. All right, and yes, this should be working. Maybe. I hope it's working. I thought I'm online, aren't I? I need to check to see if the video loads. Oh wait, my internet might be actually too slow to properly get it to work. I have to see. Yeah, it might be rather bad. Please don't. Oh, I think I have to actually watch an ad. I mean, this is my own video. Come on, Twitch. This is my video, my stream. Can I not be not have to watch an ad on the stream that I'm providing? It's my stream. It's literally me talking about myself right now. Ah, gee whiz. Okay, well, anyway. All right, well, assuming that this works and the stream quality is okay, hello. I'm Solar Loon, and this is a picture of Sonic the Hedgehog, actually. But this entire thing, this is a development log video slash stream slash development stream where I develop stuff, and I'm going to do that on camera. So one thing I want to make sure I do is pop out the chat if I can. No, I want it. If I can, here we go. Pop it out. If I can. I don't know. My internet might actually be too poor, in which case, it might not work well, or it might work okay. It might be kind of choppy. I have to see. All right. So I just want to kind of confirm that it's working before I start. Maybe I should have some music here. All right. That's fine. That's the way I assume it would be. All right, well, I'm just going to go ahead and go, and hopefully it'll work out okay. I think this is working, and yep, it's streaming and recording. So I suppose if this doesn't work out stream-wise, I can just upload the recording. All right, so anyway, this is my game Gearend in development. And I guess the first thing I'll do is show kind of what's going on in terms of the can't think of what I'm trying to say. How it's going so far in terms of development. It's going pretty well. I've made a few changes here and there, done some things. Okay, that's really loud actually. I basically barely want to hear it on my end, if possible, but I don't think that's actually possible. Well, anyway, yeah. So I have some basic. Whoa, hey, ouch. I just have some basic changes and edits and things. One thing I did was, well, I guess I'll show this. One thing I did was add this little repair station where you can go ahead and get your health recovered. You can save at that save station over there. You can, well, not really anything functionally. Oh, wait. That's right. I did make a huge change, actually. Well, I guess I'll show that. Anyway, but the thing I'm going to show right over here is this is where the shop will be. Right. And so that's why I kind of implemented was a crossfade between different tracks. That works okay. And it was kind of difficult. It wasn't too bad, but it was a little difficult because of the way that I don't know if it was the way I approached it or what exactly. What up? Thank you, Ragtag Mac, or Matt rather. What up indeed. But yeah. So let's see. I implemented this crossfade of the music. It's kind of it works pretty well. It was kind of buggy with Autospace. That's Blender, the Blender Game Engine's Pythonic audio library. It's a little buggy in terms of setting volume, but fortunately I was able to get it to work. That's good. One thing I added were these little ticks when you go ahead and use the menu. I got the menu working. I don't think I had that last time. And you can actually equip different things now, which is useful because obviously if I'm going to be implementing a shop system, then I need to be able to equip different things and have certain items or weapons in your inventory. So when you start off, you're probably going to be something like this, where you have basically one useless arm and one gun. And that's basically your starting equipment. And so it makes a little tick sound when you try to use your scrap arm. It doesn't do anything. But obviously you can go ahead and equip different things. So you have your body tab here, you have your leg tab, you have your left weapon tab, and your right weapon tab. You can swap between them with left and right. Pressing B goes back, pressing A goes forward in terms of the selection of the choice menu here. And pressing A equips the part that you want. So in this example, I have basically 3 items. I have an item called Reckoning, I have an item called SO191A, and another item called Shepherd. The Shepherd is the gun, the Reckoning is the sword, and the SO191A is the scrap arm. When I get further in development, what I'm going to do is add a little icon for what they look like, a description, a little stat readout, so you can actually see like what they are and how they work and stuff. But currently, this is okay. So when the icon is gray like this, that means that that part is equipped on another arm, or on your other arm. So you can see the Shepherd is gray here in the right weapon column, but the Shepherd is red and colored here in the left arm column. So that means that it's equipped in the left slot, and you can't equip it in the right slot. If you do try to equip it in the right slot, then it'll just swap with your other arm. So what's in the right arm now is now in the left arm, and what is in the left arm is now in the right arm, right? So you can just go ahead and swap weapons like that easily. So what we're going to do, let's just go ahead and equip something useful. And as you can see, his weapon did indeed change right there. Now we have the sword and the gun. I rebalanced a little bit of the stats, a few of the stats. Oh, hello Loon and Stream. Hi Generation X. Like the background blur out, thank you. Hello Talon Eater and Kyron the Kid. Reminds me so much of Cave's story. Yes, I guess it does kind of, in terms of overall tone and stuff. It kind of is similar to Cave's story. Yeah, so this is a nice little mechanic. I like how it works. The only thing I don't really like, once it gets, everything, once I'm finished with the stats and the icon and stuff, where it's easier to understand what you're going to be equipping, it'll be a lot easier to, obviously deal with your equipment. But I'm not 100% certain on this. I used to have a now I can't think of what I was going to say. I used to have the idea that basically you wouldn't be able to equip anything directly unless you were at a save station. So the save station had a secondary objective or a secondary ability to allow you to equip different items and things. So you basically had to select your loadout and how you would go about, your journey before you actually went on your journey. I'm not sure. I kind of like that idea still. I kind of don't at the same time as well, because on the downside of this, if you get a new item, you can't use it unless you're near a save station, which isn't really a problem. I can always make sure that there's a save station near the places where you get new items, either in shops or out in the field. But it is kind of, I don't know. I think that a lot of the fun is kind of finding your own playstyle, and I don't want that to be limited by where you are in the game. But at the same time, it also gives a lot of strategy to it, and also prevents me from kind of helps to prevent me from making scenes and levels where it's tons of hot swapping, where it's like, oh, you need to have this weapon and this weapon to get through this area, and as soon as you're done with that area, okay, now equip these 2 weapons. That's kind of something that was problematic about Valkian, was that sometimes I remember in, I guess, like the last devlog video, it was a lot of like swapping between the flashlight and those jump boots, and the gun, and the, this and that, the grenade here, and it was just like swapping between things constantly to clear different objectives or get through different areas to progress in, a secret path. I don't know. Maybe that's a bad thing for a secret path. It probably isn't, but for the gameplay, that's probably bad. You don't want to have the player constantly pressing start and going to different, going to this and equipping that, and then going to this and equipping that and equipping this, and then, just to get through 5 minutes of gameplay. So anyway, I'm probably gonna keep it like this for now. Maybe I'll get to the stage where I will be able to try out, having the save station function as an equipment station later on in development. Yeah, and metabots, mixing and matching parts. That's true. Yeah, it is like metabots. Okay, so yeah, the music fading, cross-fading, that's working, and basic equipment, selection and stuff is working. This system is a little extendable, so it's easy to add these options when I get there. The map is gone. You've probably noticed because I changed the way that I made levels, so I have to kind of redesign the map system. Not sure if I'm going to do that, or if what exactly I'm going to do for that process. I might do the map system. I might just kind of avoid it, or I don't know. I think that maps are kind of integral to the Metroid likes, but the way I designed the game isn't really conducive to map layouts because you have doors that go through areas. Whereas, well, I guess that you still had that kind of thing in Metroid. Oh, that's right, because Metroid, you never went in. You never went into any doors. You would go left or right through doors like that way on the boundaries of the rooms, or you would go up or down elevators, but you never went like physically through a plane, through the depth plane into another room on the other side of the wall or something like that. You never really did that. So actually, that would explain why the map system was easy to read and easy to use in Metroid, and why it was like a global map system, whereas I can't really do that in Gearend because the maps are not connected directly. So that's something to consider. Probably going to just go ahead and re-implement the map system I had. Anyway, I think that's pretty much all I have. I've made some changes to the level design here and there. I've thought about different enemies and different environments. Haven't really done anything major, but just some slight adjustments and things. So I'm probably going to go ahead and start now to work on. Let me see if anyone has any comments. This is looking rad. So also hi, hello Eigenbaum, or Eigenbaum. Thank you. I'm glad that you think it's looking rad. Veneration X, you don't want a lot of swapping, or you might make an Ocarina of Time Iron Boots problem. Never got to that point in Ocarina of Time. Never played much of it at all. But yeah, you don't want a problem where you have to equip the Iron Boots, and then you have to equip this item with the Iron Boots to hit a switch and then equip that item with the Iron or whatever. Zelda sometimes has that kind of effect. I remember, I think it's Twilight Princess that had the anti-gravity boots or the magnet boots, something like that. I thought Valkyne was fun, I wish you finished. Yeah, I think it was fun too. If I went back to it, it probably wouldn't be like that. I think I said this in the previous stream, but the Valkyne that I've been thinking about now would be an action roguelike kind of exploration title. So it wouldn't be a top-down exploration or a top-down Metroid-like game or Zelda-like game. It would be more action-y, less story-based, but it would be it'd be really different in terms of the overall tone. But the overall gameplay would be kind of similar as well. So it'd be kind of like a mixture between kind of the popular roguelikes that are available, or roguelike likes, or however you want to say it, like Risk of Rain and Cavern Kings, games like that, and a mixture between that and like Valkyne, the old Valkyne. Maybe you should make it so that it takes time to swap items. That's a good idea, probably. That could work. That would allow me to kind of design. I see what you mean. So that would allow me to design it so that you can, I can design different areas with the knowledge that the player won't have to always go back to the save point to change their loadout. But at the same time, they can't constantly switch weapons. Well, I don't want to penalize the player constantly switching weapons. I just want them to be able to kind of think about what they're going to use and what they're going to wield. If I penalize them for switching weapons arbitrarily, then that takes the control kind of out of their hands. Like, it could be an accident that they, press pause, unpause their game after selecting a weapon or an item or a body part, and then they can't do anything for a minute. It's like, well, you don't want that to happen. But I think that an alternate solution might be a good idea. Something to just kind of bring the player's mind to making more strategic choices when it comes to their items and things. Anyway, I'll have to think about it. Oh, Have a good night. We'll check out the replays on YouTube. Okay, sure thing. I'll be sure to upload it on YouTube like the others. Okay, so let's see. I'm gonna have to. So the plan today, hopefully in the next just couple minutes, would be to, or not couple minutes, but the next 40 minutes or so, would be to make a shop system. So the idea is I'm gonna place this NPC that's gonna be the shopkeeper, and he will spawn little I can't think of the word, little pedestals where your items will appear. So let me go ahead and see if I can bring it up. My computer's lagging a little bit. Ugh. See if I can bring up the NPC. I'm gonna need the NPC stuff, I think. I'm gonna need the NPC PNG file. I'm gonna have to, there he is. That's our shopkeeper. This rather jovial fellow here. And so he's going to have little pedestals where items are going to be. So just for the sake of keeping this simple, I'm going to make the pedestal here, even though it's, well, yeah, we'll just keep it simple. We'll make the pedestal here, and it'll just be here for us to put stuff on. And I mean, honestly, it should probably be in another section of the sprite sheets. It probably should be in the objects sheet, but it's okay. This is fine. All right, so let's see. That's what it should look like. Let's get a little lighter color in there, and it brings some contrast. Not that light. It's a little too bright. I guess that's okay. Yeah, that'll be okay. Tweak it a little bit. Yeah, that's basically what we're looking for. Please don't tell me. Oh, that's because, okay. There we go. That's because I have my controller hooked up the USB port, and it is not a Windows controller. Here. Alrighty. So that is the concept. I shouldn't take too much time on this. It's supposed to be kind of like a little, yeah, that's probably the best right around there. Yeah, that's probably good enough. Okay, let's save that out. All right, so I have little parts of my weapons. I have different sprites. This is just resources. Let me go over here so I can actually see what I'm looking at. All right, so these are the different items. I guess that's a spoiler, but yeah, you get a shield. You have well, I'm not going to tell what the other ones are, although you know that this is the rocket launcher. You know this is the scrap arm. This is the sword. This is the normal weapon. I can't remember if I have the name correct. But yeah, the normal pistol, and then you have I think I covered them all. Now I'm not so sure. Anyway. Oh, let's see. Don't know if you answered this somewhere before, but how did you get started? How do you start getting into game development and pixel art? Well, I started making games. I started making games maybe like 12 years ago, 11. I don't know. I'm around 24. I'm 24 now. I started making games when I was like, yeah, maybe 10 or 9. With like Game Maker or RPG Maker 95, like really early software. And I'm talking like Game Maker like 6 or 5 or something. Like when Mark Overmars was making it by himself. I think that was when I had Game Maker. And I started with that stuff. But then I kind of, tooled around with different things. Pixel art, I started around that time as well. My brother also was making games and doing pixel art back then. And I stuck with it. Eventually I got better with pixel art. Eventually I got better with game development and programming and stuff. I jumped between a lot of languages. I worked with Game Maker language, Lua, Flash's ActionScript, in Flash MX, as well as by itself, Axe, Python, C++ a little bit. I've used a lot of languages over the time that I've been developing, but for the most part, I stuck with like Game Maker. I don't think this is correct, is it? Oh, that's right. We don't have this. Yeah, I don't have this anymore. But yeah, I stuck for the most part with Game Maker, and then like found Blender and found that it had Python scripting. I basically learned more about Python. That's kind of like what got me more and more into Python, as well as as I know it now, and into game development. So Blender kind of kickstarted that process, a little bit, with like more serious projects, and I've worked on big stuff before, but this is kind of like the one thing that I've really worked on for a long time. This is the second largest game I've worked on, I guess. The second longest I've worked on a game. Obviously, the first longest would be Valken. So that has yet to be I can't think of the word, but it has yet to be surpassed in terms of total time I've been working on things. That game it was in development for a solid year, I think. That's too stretched. But yeah, it was in development for a solid year, so whew, boy howdy. Alright. This is going to be our NPC shopkeeper. I will say 0 because this is part of his animation. Okay. And these are just sprites. Yeah, okay. So let's go over here again. We need to actually make an object that represents the shopkeeper. We could save some time. Let's go ahead and just duplicate an existing NPC. Let's make a new group for him. Alright. This is going to be NPC shopkeeper. Okay, and his sprite or his mesh should be the shopkeeper mesh. Oh. Okay, he really doesn't have to do much. He just has to kind of sit there. So let's go ahead and make sure that he's aligned okay with the ground, and then he should basically be right around there. Yeah. Alright, so that's the concept. Let's stretch this collision mesh out so we can actually that's no good. Actually, I guess it doesn't really matter because you're only going to be talking to him, you know, when you go up, and you're not supposed to like really talk to him. So it's okay that he's kind of like a little gimp, a little, you know, fuzzy on his collision. That's not really a big deal right now. So that should be there. Let's go ahead and make the pedestal sprite that we're going to need. Yeah, okay. Well, I don't want to use this one. That's a little oversized and stuff. Use this one. All right. Oops. 0.5, not times 5. 0.5. This is going to be the shopkeeper's pedestal. All right. Cool. I guess I don't. Yeah, actually, it doesn't have to be a sprite because it's going to be static, so that's okay. We'll just continue with this. We're not going to need an actual mesh sprite like animation for that. It's just going to be a collision box and a little thing. So let's go ahead and copy this. No, actually, let's Alt-D this. This will be the shop pedestal. Okay. All right, that's working, and we want to use the pedestal for this. There we go. Let's go ahead and make sure that this is where it should be. We probably want to size this down. I think I know what I'm going to do with this. That is, there we go. So yeah, I'm using a. I just realized I don't need to do this. I'm using a specific mesh here, NPC bounds for the bounds of my NPCs and stuff. That's I guess useful because like certain NPCs are kind of standardized in terms of their size. Obviously, this dude's a lot bigger, and this pedestal is going to be an NPC of sorts as well. It really does not need to be It can have its own collision mesh, collision box. This is going to be pedestal collision. We'll just call it pedestal. Let's go ahead and snap this to a grid. Yeah, that's fine. Snap this to cinder. Okay, this should be working okay. Let's make sure that this isn't part of the... This dark green is kind of messing with me. But yeah, we don't want the pedestal, or this to be part of... Yeah, we don't want that. There we go. So these two should be part of the shopkeeper. Okay, that's right. And these two should be part of the... We won't need to directly place these, actually. We're going to need to put this in the resources scene. There we go. Let's see. Is there any reason you've really gotten into the Blender game engine of all engines? Well, telling you, dear, not really. I don't know. It was free. It was open source, and I started learning it, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 6 or 7. So I know it really well. Like, I made this. There was a method for doing sprites before I came along. And I made a new method because I didn't like how that method worked. There was a method, the input maps. There's no means of doing input maps in the BGE. There's not a means of doing input maps in a lot of engines, surprisingly. A lot of engines kind of skip out on that particular rather lengthy and complex, or not complex, but just time-consuming part of development is making input maps so that if I press left on a keyboard or left on a control stick, it'll work the same. So it's just, I've learned how to use the engine. I've learned how to make my own tools to assist myself in using the engine. So, I mean, it could have been Unity. It could have been, a lot of engines. But it's kind of weird because there's not a lot of 3D engines out there. Even now, like even after all this time has passed since I started learning Blender, there's just not that many options. There's, you've got Unity, UDK, Shiva, Godot, Blender, Panda 3D. At that point, that's pretty much all you got. Then you've got a few frameworks. Panda 3D is more of a framework, but you've got other frameworks like XNA and Monogame. You've got, when it comes to 3D, there's just not that many options. In contrast, when it comes to 2D, you can basically choose a language and find a game, framework for that language. You want hacks, you've got Flixel, Haxpunk, you've got Enemy, you got OpenFL, not Enemy, I guess that's outdated. You got OpenFL, you got all that stuff. GameMaker, language, obviously you have that. SDL for C++, and I think there's bindings for C# and other .NET languages, and there's PySDL bindings. There's SFML bindings for Python and for C++. It's, I guess, not bindings for C++. That's what it's written for. You've got Pygame for Python. You've got Piglet for Python. You've got Love2D for Lua. So I mean, like, if you want a 2D engine, you basically you're set. You just have to choose which language you like and go from there. Whereas with 3D, you kind of have to, like, do you like Unity? No? Well, then that's not really, you don't really have that many options. So that's kind of, I guess, part of the reason why I got into the BGE. I do a lot of 3D modeling myself, but I'm trying to teach myself a programming language, and any advice on how to stick to it. I use C# and Unity. Well, I guess the question would be, like, what do you have trouble with when it comes to sticking with a programming language? I mean, is it too hard to learn? Is it you get bored? Is it you get frustrated because you can't learn fast enough because you think you're learning slow? Or I mean, because I didn't develop all the 11 years I've been working on games. I maybe would work on something for a little while and then take a break for 6 or 7 months, and then work on something for a little while and take a break for a month. And sometimes I would be working really regularly, and then other times I wouldn't do much development at all. So it kind of depends on your personal your feelings on development. If you find game developing or programming to be boring, then obviously you should make it interesting to yourself. So if you think it's boring, then work on something you want to work on, and you can see it come to life and be what you want it to be. If you think it's kind of frustrating, that's just part of life. It's you're not going to learn how to develop or make cool things in just a day or even a month or a year. It's going to take time. So just keep at it, and you'll get better and better, and improve. Hi Zolt or Zoit. Yeah. Hello. Okay, so yeah, just keep with it. I have had hundreds of projects over the years that I've never finished. Some, I just would create the folder and start a sprite and be like, no, I'm not gonna make this. Others, I got a little ways in. One that was kind of interesting was where you played a castaway on a deserted island, and you had to like craft different items and weapons and stuff, and use that to explore the island. It was probably my most complete in terms of like. Well, no, it wasn't my most complete. Valkyrie was my most complete. It wasn't my most complete in terms of like skill or programming and stuff, but I think it was kind of like it had a lot of potential in terms of what it could have been, because it was really interesting. It wasn't something that I kind of would make. It was because I don't really like crafting and things. Oh, am I the only one who stopped hearing anything back when he was talking about 3D engines? Oh, that won't do. Well, the volume meter is working, so I think that's correct. Can everyone else hear me? So let's ask that. While I'm waiting for a response, let me go ahead and see about this. So I have my pedestal. I've got my. No, I can hear him. Okay. Well, then maybe it's an issue with Town Eater's internet. Maybe it's an issue with my internet. I don't know. But I'll continue as best as I can. So we have the shopkeeper here. He's going to be running this script. We have the pedestal that's going to represent our items. Okay, so let's go over here. He's got his own group. Okay, let's go over here to the RD new scene. And we're going to put the shopkeeper in a shop down here. That isn't correct. I forgot to reposition the group. There we go. All right. There we go. That's better. So he's going to be here. Let's go ahead and add some tiles here. That's going to be our desk that we made in the last live stream. Okay. Like this. I'm trying to see how I'm. That's how that's how it was. Okay. Oh, that's where. Okay, I was wondering where I went wrong. That's better. Okay. All right. Yeah. So that's our dude. That's our shopkeeper. Nice. All right, so he's gonna run a script. All right. I think I've got everything I need. I just need to grab the player who's right over here. Pull him down here into the shop, where we can just kind of quickly hash it out. Oh wait. Okay. Let's see. No, then I guess it is. This is a me problem. I can hear him. Yes. This. Okay, I guess you guys can also hear him. This is my first time here. Is he making sprites in Blender? I can hear him. Okay. He makes the art in GIMP and it imports the PNG into Blender. Why? Okay. Well, Zoit or Zolt, Z. I'll just call you Z. I make him in GIMP because you can't make the sprites in Blender. I mean, you can like 3D model them and then export them, like render them out as sprites and then import them back into Blender, but it's just easier for me to just pixel them normally. I guess you could also make 3D models of all the characters and items and things, but pixel art is just, it's kind of an interesting workflow, and it's easier to pixel a character than to 3D model a character and then pixel him. Because, you'd have to either pixel his texture or like actually texture him properly, which obviously is like a entire process. It's kind of different to do it via pixel art than to do it via normal texturing. Okay. Right. So let's go ahead and test this. Oh wait, I was going to say test it out. We can't test it out because we don't have anything for the NPC shopkeeper to do. So let's do that. Let's set up a basic shopkeeper NPC. All right, so I have this set up in such a way where the NPC, kind of a general NPC function that gets run that every NPC can do. And then I just have to set some variables, and then the NPC general function takes care of the rest. So I'll just copy this, and we'll call this the shopkeeper. And let's see. What we don't want him to do is turn toward us when we talk to him, because that's what normal. There we go. We don't want him to turn face when talking. So we're gonna set this obj face when talking to be false. And we don't want him to animate anything just yet. We don't have any animations. We just have a single sprite, so we're just gonna cut that out. Let's see. And down here I should have, there we go. Okay, cool. Yeah. And we don't have a picture for him yet. We don't have, we do have a pitch for him. He's gonna be a little deeper voiced. And his dialogue should be what we're gonna write here. So yeah. His dialogue is gonna be just like well, let's see. He's a shopkeeper. We'll just say whatever. Howdy there. All right, he's a shopkeeper. So, well, hello there. You're my first customer. Well, I guess he can't say that because he would always say that. And I don't really feel like setting conditional dialogue right now, since I would rather focus on setting the shop up. We'll just say welcome. Welcome to my humble shop. Just look into, or just check, or my wares are available over to my left. So just some basic stuff, just so I could understand kind of what just so I could get him up and running. Okay, here we go. Have you ever thought of trying 3D? You seem like your skills are kind of set in stone for 2D. I have tried 3D before. Part of Valken was in 3D, and I have tried normal 3D as well. I think I would like to try 3D for kind of normal, not normal games. Like, I would like to try 3D, but I think I still want the pixel art aesthetic. So it would be a kind of a mixture of like pixeling textures as well as doing 3D models for normal stuff. I do have some 3D elements in Gearend. I do plan to make more 3D elements for Gearend. I just haven't really gone into that like just yet. Excuse me. Have you thought of writing your own engine like Blender or UDK? No, that would be way too much work. I already know. I don't think I have really thought about writing my own, because it doesn't really seem like something that's necessary at this stage. It just, writing your own engine it's a lot of work and a lot of time. That's time I could be using on my own game. So that's that. If all the art is in 2D and the game is in 2D, why use Blender? Well, I'm familiar with Blender. It's a 3D game engine. True, but it's it allows me to do some things that you can't do in normal 2D engines. It has GLSL shader support. It has lighting and shadows built in. It has what else? It has node materials. It has actual materials. It has a lot of a depth, an actual like 3-dimensional depth that's present. And so it has a lot of stuff that's just not present in normal traditional 2D engines. So it allows me to be a little more kind of more easily understand how the game's going to work and how it's going to look and turn out. I'm sure that if you ask someone who used Unity, they would basically. I just realized how short this desk looks for this dude. Like, he's huge behind this desk. If you ask someone who used Unity and used the 3D mode to make 2D games, they probably would say like, oh, it's, you know, there's obviously downsides because it's you're shoehorning a 3D engine to do a 2D game. You're restricting one of the axes, so they might have like, you know, complaints about physics and stuff. But then they might also say like, oh, well, obviously I still have the additions, the abilities that Unity affords me. I still have the, you know, the depth, the 3D, you know, dimensional environment, so I can, you know, pan around and zoom in and, you know, rotate my scene around and see things from different angles. So it's a little easier to kind of deal with on that level. Okay, so let's see. Let's turn off the audio too. Let's turn off the BGM real quick. All right. Okay. Come on. I don't think I have too many things open or running. Okay, there we go. Well, hello there. Welcome to my humble shop. My wares are available to my left. Cool. Yeah. Perfect. It works. That's great. Thank you very much for watching. I've been okay. All right. Yeah, I can't stop just there. I have to actually make the shop. It's not just the NPC. I have to actually make the pedestals, which is like the kind of main point. Okay, so the pedestals, the way that I've envisioned this working is a pedestal. That's my dog just going nuts over there. But my pedestal, basically what the pedestal does is it will display information about what the shopkeeper has chosen to sell. So I'm going to basically tell the shopkeeper what it's going to sell, and then it's going to spawn a pedestal for each thing, and then assign that pedestal, like, this is what you're going to sell, this is what you are going to sell, this is what you are going to sell, like that. Okay, so we're going to do this like so. We're going to need to get... I need to look up something really quickly about game objects, or rather, GO. Here we go, group objects, that's it. So in the BGE, a group object is the, in a situation like this where I've spawned in an instance of a group object is this object. So you have this object, which is this, basically all these objects together is kind of behind or spawned in by a group object. So I can set a variable on a group object like this, you know, and then when the actual game object is spawned in, it has a link to this object, this group object. So I can set variables on this thing that get passed on to the actual shopkeeper, because that's what it gets spawned in. So we say, okay, if it has a group object, then we say the we'll do this. OBJ shop inventory is empty list. Then we say shop inventory dot append, and so basically we're going to start appending different things that we want to sell. So the idea is I basically say item for item what I want this dude to sell. So we want to sell, and this is where I'm going to use the codes for each item in the player. So the player has different codes. Actually, bipedals have different codes of the different items available in the game, and they each have their own copy of the item. And the player starts off with just a few items, or I guess all bipedals start off with just a few items acquired, and I'll just switch the different items and what's equipped for each bipedal. So for example, for an enemy or for a boss, if they're a bipedal, then I can just say, okay, well, equip this item, equip that item, equip this item, and then it'll work. So let me go ahead and check the chat real quick. Okay, yeah, nothing new. Cool. Oh, what is your favorite 2D platformer? Favorite 2D platformer? That's a hard one. That's a hard one. Cave Story was a lot of fun. Favorite though, favorite 2D platformer. I don't know, Because I mean, I say Metroid like and stuff like that a lot, but I don't think I've ever even gotten partially through a Metroid. Like the most I've gotten probably like 15% or something. Except for Metroid Prime, I've played those quite a bit, but not any 2D Metroid. I do have some, but I don't really play them. Metroid Fusion on my 3DS, I think I have. But it's yeah, that's a good question. What is the favorite 2D Metroid like or 2D platformer? I don't know. I'd have to look through my Steam library or my 3DS and maybe check. I favorite 2D platformer. That's a good one. But for now, I guess yeah, K-Story is good. Cavern Kings, if you play that on, if you've seen that on Steam, that's a lot of fun. It's difficult, but it's fun. Risk of Rain is pretty fun. Well, I guess Risk of Rain is pretty platform heavy actually. I was gonna say it's not really a platformer, but it is pretty heavy on platforming, even though that's not really the goal of the game. There's kind of a lot of platforms for it to not be a platformer. Okay, so we want it to sell things. Now I can't really say. Yeah, I guess that's probably the best route. So we're gonna basically set this up so that anything that has the string sell in it is going to be something that our shopkeeper can sell. So we can say for, I don't know if I can do that. For I in go, print go, or print I. I don't think I can do this, but I'm going to see exactly what the out, well, actually I should be able to do this. No, I can't. Never mind. I have to remember how to do this. Yeah, I don't remember how to do this. Man, I didn't think about exactly the specifics behind selling things. Okay. What I'm going to have to end up doing is looking up the API, I think. Oh, Mario's pretty fun. Yeah, that's pretty fun. Mario's always a nice game. Well, wait a second. Actually, I'm going to do this little trick where I print out the directory of what's in the... That's not what I'm looking for at all. Where I print out the directory of the game object and see what's in there. Let's see. Yeah, Mario's pretty fun. You know, I want to get Mario 3D World. I just haven't gotten it yet. It seems like a fun game. I know it's really good, really solid. It has a lot of you know, people saying like it's like a buy a Wii U for this game kind of game. That's also what they say about Smash 4, and Smash 4 is a buy a Wii U for that game kind of game. It's rather good. It's a lot of fun. It looks great. It's a fun game. Okay, attribute dictionary is what we're. Wait, isn't it? Are you get property names? That's it. Get property names. Okay, that's what I'm looking for. So if I print go.get property names, that should be what we're looking for. There we go. Sell right there. Boom, 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 boom. I'm sorry. I'm just happy to have. I'm sorry. Anyone who has headphones is like blown back right now. I'm sorry. I apologize. But I can do this. Okay. For I in go.get property names, if sell in I, then this is an indication of what we want our shopkeeper to sell. So we say shop inventory.append go I. No. Yeah, no, that'll work. So then we say print OJ shop inventory. I don't think I actually have to store the shop inventory in this. How hard is it to port BGE to Android and iOS? Well, there was an effort to port it to Android, but I believe that didn't work out too well because I think it like requires they're trying to push stuff over to a new like drawing method. I think they're like using OpenGL. I don't know. I think they might move it to OpenGL 3 or something, and so that was like part of the reason why they were kind of holding back on the Android port. But I'm not sure. I have to look into it. It got partially ported. I know, like the entire like Blender as a whole got partially ported, I believe, to Android. And the iOS, I think it's because of the license agreement, the GPL licensing on the BGE. And Blender as a whole, it won't enable or won't facilitate porting Blender over to iOS. So if I were to learn another language engine again, I probably would go for something that has mobile support, not because I'm interested in mobile gaming so much, but because it attracts a lot of people I know. And the more people who are attracted to an open source game engine that works on Android and iOS, the more people that will work on the engine and add new features and stuff that's also available and also beneficial for people like me who just mess around with the engine. Mario 3D World is worth owning a Wii U for. I wouldn't doubt that. Haha, lol. For Mario Galaxy though, if they made like a Mario Galaxy 3 for the Wii U, well, when they make a new Mario, it's gonna be good looking. We already know that because the Wii U is already better graphically than the Wii and the PS3. Well, it's at least as good as the PS3, which is saying something because I mean, like I can't speak for anyone else, but like when I got a 3DS, I was impressed that the graphics were actually better than the DS. It wasn't just DS in 3D. It was like a whole better version of the DS. I just grabbed the 3DS because I heard it was 3D. I was like, oh yeah, let me go ahead and try it. I bought it. I'm like, this is actually good looking in addition to being 3D. So like the Wii U graphically, it's great. Like it's not as good as the Xbox One or the PS4. It's like, okay, that's true, but I mean graphically still, it's really good. So they make a new Mario Galaxy, man, with great graphics. And if it was like an open world kind of thing, maybe like Mario 64 was, at least, where it's like an open overworld you can run around in. Mario Galaxy was kind of like that, but it wasn't. I don't know. It felt kind of smaller. The overworld. I guess because it was smaller. Anyway, none of that's here or there. Will the shopkeeper sell us his strongest potions? He will sell us his strongest weapons and armor and body parts and everything. Not his body parts and not. Yeah, actually body parts. Not his, but body parts. Solid body parts. Okay, so let's go ahead and print out our shop inventory. I feel like I just kind of erased that line, but I'm not sure. Okay, nothing. That's no good. Let's see why. So actually, I'm not going to need to. Well, I'll keep this in an object variable just because I might need it. So let's see. Print I cell. Okay. If cell in I.lower append geo I. Oh, I'm sorry. That might have surprised people who weren't expecting it. I just realized I didn't actually put anything in this string. That's why it's just a blank line. All right, so we're gonna need to sell. Let's say we're gonna sell an item here. Let's say the shield. Let's say he sells the shield. So that's the concept. So I can keep adding new cell variables, and it'll just keep, and I can just basically, make more and more variables that indicate what he's going to sell, and it'll just automatically kind of stretch this out. I don't only have to have this one shopkeeper object. I can make a million shops with a million shopkeeper objects, and they're all functionally the same, but just changing what their cell variables are. That's the goal. Okay, so let's actually do this. Let's make it sell us the shield and the rocket launcher, which I think it's called launcher. Let me see what we have in here. Classes. Launcher. Okay, it's capitals though. Let's see. Shield. Launcher. Okay. What is your opinion on RPGs and JRPGs? Well, RPGs. All right, JRPGs. I have to have a good opinion on them in terms of, because I mean, honestly, where can you find as beautiful music as you usually find in like normal level JRPG? Like any JRPG is usually probably gonna have some really good music. Like The Last Story. Has good music. Final Fantasies all have good music. Even games you wouldn't even expect it to have good music have good music. So I mean, like you usually see that in like fantasy and RPG games. So that's I have a good opinion of them because of that. But overall, I'm not a fan of turn-based RPG. I'm more of a fan of action RPG. So like it's funny. Pretty much any game can now be classified as an action RPG because it's just an action game with RPG elements. Is basically an action RPG. But like the last story, I kind of liked. I have it. I play it from time to time. It's pretty good because of its unique like combat, and it keeps the game going. Xenoblade Chronicles, I'm not as interested in it because the combat feels more turn-based. It feels more like you're locked in place, attack the dude automatically. It's like, well, I want to be able to dodge and move around and stuff. So I'm more of an action RPG kind of person. For dialogue, instead of using arrays, you also use game properties similar to the cell to store strings. I could. That's true. And that would be an easier route probably, but since I'd have to set that for each shopkeeper, it doesn't really make sense unless I want it to have them all say different things. But even then, it'd probably be easier because I have better formatting ability. Like, it's easier to write long strings here than it is to write long strings in these little spaces. So this is fine for little strings. All right, so this is the concept. I think that this should work. Okay, I'm missing, of course, the key part. For I in OBJ shop inventory, I don't really have to. I'm doing this in two different parts here. But I'm just, yeah, actually that's unnecessary. We'll just do it like this. So this is the inventory of what he's going to sell, and then for each thing that we find in here, we're going to add a shop pedestal. And I think, yeah, I need to add that there. It's going to be like this. Actually, we're going to need to do it out here because it's going to, we need to like slide each pedestal over by a certain amount. So we're going to say I in range length of the shop inventory. We say start x equals, we'll say -64, or I'm sorry, -2. So I'm writing this out just from and then we want to say plus I. So for each pedestal, it's going to slide it over by -2. That's where it's going to start. But well, I guess I could just say, yeah, there's no reason to have that variable. But 2 plus I. So for each new item, it's going to slide it over. So you're going to see it should be where it's like the shield is here and the sword is here, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, as it gets over. And it worked. Here's the shop pedestal here, and there's a shop pedestal there. And then here's the shopkeeper. Moves that stuff. Cool. So we want to move this over a little more so that it's not right in front of his desk. Cool. We want to make it so that it's a little larger, a little more of a gap between each pedestal. Very good. So bop, 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 like that. So obviously the amount of things he can sell would be limited by the amount of space in each shop. But for now, I think that's pretty good. I could make it so that it like stretches out, like for example, from this line to this line, it stretches the number of pedestals out. So for example, it would have a pedestal here and here, and then if I have 5 pedestals, then it would go like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like evenly spaced. But that's okay. That's just more work than I really need to do. All right, now it comes down to the pedestal, where we'll just say, hi, I'm a pedestal. Just so that we can make sure that this is actually working correctly. It doesn't need any kind of special dialogue pitch. It can just work normally. Chugging. Okay. Hi, I'm a pedestal. Hi, I'm a pedestal. Good. Now, what we're going to do is, right, we need to pass the information of what it's going to sell to each pedestal. So we say s sell equals I. So now each pedestal has a new variable named sell. Right, sell. And that would be equal to each item it's going to sell. So for just debug purposes or just to make sure that we have a default, we say if not cell in obj, cell equals none. Yeah, just that we never have a pedestal that doesn't have a cell variable. So we can say obj print, well, just to make it say it, we can make sure it works, we can say obj cell. Yeah, that should work. Do you enjoy Mega Man games, any? Yes, indeed, I do enjoy Mega Man games, any. I enjoy any. Yes, I enjoy Mega Man games. Pretty good. Mega Man Legends was it's unfortunate that it was canceled, the third one, because that was a really good game. Or it looked like it could have been a good game. The second one is I have the PS1 disc with the case and the manual in my room because it's Mega Man Legends 2 was a good game. Never played one. I wish they had more Mega Man Legends because that was just like, it wasn't really a Mega Man game, but it really worked really well. The gameplay was solid. It was interesting. The plot was interesting. The graphics were good for PS1. You know, they still kind of hold up, and it was really big too. Like you could go to a lot of places and fight a lot of people and get a lot of parts and get a lot of special weapons. It was good. And then, of course, the classic Mega Mans are good. I think I'm more of an X and ZX person. X, ZX, and Zero, like that area. Mega Man Battle Network was fun. The only kind of problem I had with Mega Man Battle Network was even like the combat was fun, the movement was like, you know, the exploration and stuff. The only real problem was that sometimes you get in these mazes where it was just like, you have to, you know, flip the switch and then flip that switch. Okay, next room. Okay, now flip these 3 switches. Okay, next room. Now let's flip, you know, this switch flips that switch. So now you have to have this switch puzzle where it's like switch 1 flips switch 3 and switch 2 flips switch 1. And you have to flip them all in this little order. It's like, ugh. And while you're trying to run through this, you're getting constantly fought. And it was just like, oh, that's, ugh. The shopkeeper is a soda machine. Shopkeeper just stores all his products on the floor. Yes, for convenience. For convenience, all of his stuff is on the floor. Oh, there's an error. Let's see. Thing is because seems to be an error. Let's go ahead and make sure that I'm not making any mistakes here. I don't think I made a mistake. Okay, 0 and 1. Oh, I've said I. My mistake. It can't be I. It's obj shop inventory I. There we go. I made a mistake there. That explains it. There we go. Launcher and shield. Okay, so we can just, now that should work, and we should be able to walk up and press E to interact. And yeah, shield, that's what we're going to be selling, and launcher, that's what we're going to be selling. Cool. Very nice. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is have it say the dialogue for the description of these items. So let me see. I have this set up. Yeah, they're capitals and stuff already. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab, I think I can just import this. I'm going to do this the lazy way and just say import classes. I can do that. I don't think it'll cause any redundancy or issues or anything like that. And we're going to say classes dot bipedal dot items, or wait. Okay, that is code completion isn't working. Bipedal dot parts, and then it should be obj cell. So this is the part that the player should basically have access to, but not like he hasn't bought it yet. And then we want to get a description. So that's going to be, yeah, that description. Okay. Bipedal has no attribute parts. What? Yes, it does. It has. Bipedal has no attribute parts. Okay, I guess because it defines it here. Alright, then I guess I'll have to grab the player in particular. Alright, well that's, yeah, I guess that makes sense. Okay, so it's going to be global game dot scene data dot player. Oh wait, how do I get the player again? Oh, player 0. Okay, this is probably like a real hack, but I don't know that for sure. Let me see. A shield. I think that's my description. A shield. This is running really slowly. Let me see if I can. There we go. All right. A battle tested okay. Let me. Okay. Well, it's working. That's the important thing. It's working. It doesn't matter that the text is running halfway across Paraguay or whatever. It's running, working really well. Battle tested missile launcher. Use. Yeah. Yeah, used extensively in the field when humans were in high numbers and at war with each other. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna have any upgrades anymore. That was when I had time to do this. Had time to make upgrades and things like that. Or I'm gonna pare it back a little bit. All right, we'll just keep the description nice and short because it's only like 3 lines that we have access to. Okay. About to use extensively in the field when humans were. There we go. Cool. So now the thought is that it should say the name somewhere. So maybe I should make it so that the text is smaller, so I can equip or fit 4 lines of text on here. So you can have the item name and then the description. That's probably what I'm going to do. Let me see. So let's cut this out. We'll say this is the cell part. So we want to say cell part dot name plus this new line plus. So I'm just kind of doing some formatting stuff here. I think that should be it. Yeah. There we go. That's pretty good. I think I'm going to move the text up a little bit just to make sure that it doesn't, like, it's not all run offy. Kind of awkward. Let's just slide this. Okay, apparently I cannot like slide this up at all. There we go. That'll work. Okay, well now it's a 4-line message window. Hooray! Honestly, that's a little high, but yeah, that's a little high. That's a little high. I think I want to make them smaller, make the text smaller, because otherwise it's just it's too much. Just a little bit smaller will probably be enough. Wait. Let's see. The shop gets more expensive as your suit gets darker. That happened? I had no idea. Yeah, that's right. They had Mega Man Legends 1 on N64 as Mega Man 64 instead of just Mega Man Legends for some reason. I don't know why they. I need to look up to see if there was a difference between Mega Man Legends 1 and Mega Man 64 because I think that they were like the same game effectively. It's really hard. They make you fight 3 giant robots at once. In Mega Man Legends 3 was rather difficult. I'm sorry, 2 was rather difficult if I recall. It was really difficult. It was just toward the end. It got really just like you had to be really good. We beat it, but like it was difficult. To just even to manage, like after 5 or 6 or 20 deaths or whatever, it was really something else. All right. So anyway, I need to add a cost for each item. So we're just gonna add a default cost here. Okay, so we'll call it scrap cost so that we don't get it confused with anything else. We'll call it or make it 20, and then we can change. Actually, I think this is going to sell the sword, not the shield. Let me see. Well, just for the purposes of our test, we'll leave it alone because Well, you shouldn't have the sword right now. Let me fix that. Let me go ahead and fix that. You shouldn't have the sword yet. Sword should not be acquired. So that's basically the end result. Is after all this works, it's going to ask you how much. It's going to tell you the name of the weapon, tell you the description, tell you the basic stats of like attack, defense, or whatever, and then it's going to tell you the cost and ask you if you want to buy it. You say yes or no, and if you say yes, it'll deduct the cost and give you a acquired, set the acquired thing to true. So that's the goal, is for it to basically be able to give you an item. It'll say, oh, you got item X, and it should have like a little jingle or something, but just for the purposes of this, it's going to be really dry and cut and dry kind of thing. Item name should be in different color, maybe set of colors based on item type. That's a good idea. That might be a good idea. You can't change color mid-text. With Blender, you'd have to have another text object, which I could do, but I'm not sure if I really feel the desire to do that. I mean, well, not right now, but I don't know if it's like really on the to-do list. It could be a good idea though. I think that would be a nice little flavor thing. That to speed it up, you might want to disable some filters or lighting effects. It usually runs at 60 FPS or above. It's just I'm streaming, and apparently I don't know if I have some stuff up or what, some programs running or what that's kind of slowing things down. But usually it's not an issue. But maybe just for making sure that this runs at a at a good rate, so that nobody's having trouble watching the stream and stuff. I probably should reduce the effects running. Let me just do that real quick. Let's see. I remember where I put this stuff. Not in GUI. It's not in system. I'm honestly having trouble remembering where I put the code that turns on filters and stuff. Oh wait, I added it as a scene. There we go. FX post process and that stuff. The code is somewhere else though. I'm not sure quite where I put it, but yeah, that's fine. So that should, yeah, okay. Now it's back to just normal. Slight improvement maybe, but yeah, okay. So we have some stuff. A shield, atomic core, a battle tested missile launcher. All right, that's fine. Well, hello there. Welcome to my humble shop. Let's actually make his voice a little deeper. I don't want to forget this kind of stuff. His voice is somewhere around here. Yeah. Make it nice and deep, so you can really hear him. He has a different voice. Huh. Okay, so the default voice should probably be higher because it's his voice. Well, anyway, let me do that now. I don't want to forget this stuff, I didn't do anything. Well, whatever. It must be somewhere else I'm setting it. All right, so next thing we need to do is we need to display the sprite eventually, but we need to ask if you want to purchase it for the price. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. Ask if you want to purchase it for the price. So NPC. Okay, so here, and then it says it costs, and then we say plus sell part dot scrap cost plus scrap. Do you want to purchase it? Okay, now this is where I have to do something. I have a basic, let's see, I rarely do choices in Gearend, so it's kind of because it's so rare for me, I don't really know how to do it offhand. So let me just see how I do this. Okay, so I'm just gonna copy this. That's what when you become a game developer, you just start copying things. You just copy and paste some stuff, and then everything works out okay, and then you're like, oh, okay, that was a good choice. Everyone's like, oh, you really know what you're doing. Yeah, it's like, I just copied everything. I just copied stuff. All right, so if your trigger tree index is equal to 1, then okay, that's not what I need to know. This isn't. Oh, I get it. Oh, it goes to different trees. That's how this works. Okay. So, oops. So in this example, we're gonna put this down here. In this example, yeah. In this example, when it gets to this little pound sign, that means it's going to be a choice, and it's going to push you to either the yes choice is going to push you to tree number X, and the Y choice is going to push you to tree number Z. Whatever. It's going to put you to 1 or 2. So what I'm going to do here is set this up so that if you don't have enough scrap to actually cover the cost, then the dialogue will change. So basically 1 will be like, oh, you don't have enough, money. And 2 won't do anything. And 3 will be, you had enough money, you purchased the item. So that's the idea. So we say, okay, if, we'll do this. Player equals this. We say if player dot scrap is less than sell part dot over here dot scrap cost, then this is the dialogue. We say you want to purchase it, yes. And we say dialogue option 1 is basically you don't have enough scrap to purchase this part. And dialogue option 2 is nothing, because you say no, I don't want to purchase it, and so you just silently backs out. Otherwise, it does this, and it basically says you got, and then it adds on the sell part dot name. All right. Add a couple asterisks for flavor. Okay, cool. We don't need this dialogue anymore. That was just for me to understand what it's supposed to be doing. And then we say if you do have enough scrap, then if you do press trigger and your tree index is equal to 1, then we want to say player dot scrap minus equal sell part dot scrap cost. Player dot parts sell part dot attained equals true. That's it. That's basically it. I think that's it. We're gonna test this out. Let me see if there's any questions. I can hear the voices of the characters. That's unfortunate. It's just like kind of voice. Excuse me. Oh, I have water. I have water here. Good. Oh man, that's slightly better. But yeah, they just have kind of like a you'll hear it. You'll hear it when I make a new devlog video where I'm not talking. Or when you play the demo. That's gonna come up pretty soon. Once I probably get the first boss in there, and maybe once I get the first boss in there, or a little bit past that, I might make a demo. How does your robot repair damage? They don't drink potion. I think more like they would have a nano machine potion. Also, would health refill at a save station? No, health does not refill at a save station. There is already a separate station where you can refill your health. It's like a nano machine. It's just it's like a big enclosing thing. I haven't animated it, but it will like open and your character will disappear and it'll shut and then it'll exactly Animal Crossing voices, kind of like that. But yeah, the big health thing opens and your character disappears and it'll shut. Your character gets healed and then it'll open and your character will reappear and the thing will shut. It's just gonna be like a little flavor animation. It already works fine the way it is. It's just just to make it look interesting. I imagine robot text voices would be just various generated waves based on the bot. That'll be interesting if I could generate different wave formats based on maybe the name of the bot or something like that. That'd be actually a really cool idea. Oh no, I'm getting a ton of errors. Can't convert into. Okay, I know what I'm doing here. I can't do this. It costs. Yeah, I have to convert it to a string. That means that I have to have it over here too. Let's see. Cool. All right, I think that should be okay for now. So again, atomic core. It costs 20 scrap. Do you want to purchase it? No. Cool. And we say, oh yeah. No wait. I do want to purchase it. Oh wait, I'm not sure if that was my mouse or not. Hold on. You don't have enough scrap to purchase this part. Yeah. Cool. So now let's go ahead and check it, test it out, and give the player like an infinite number of scrap or something, so that we can test it out and see if it works. Self.scrap equals 100. All right, if we have 100 scrap over there. Yeah, we do want to purchase it. You got atomic core. What? It didn't deduct the scrap, which means it didn't give me the item. All right, let's see what's going on here. Okay. So let's see. This should work. OBJ trigger tree index. Oh no, I'm sorry. That of course this won't work. The reason why this isn't working is because the trigger is going off. You know, the trigger, the robot, the pedestal rather, is being triggered by the player. But the tree index isn't 1 yet. Or I guess no, that shouldn't be the issue. Let me see. I don't think it should be. It should be 1 because it should be 1 for at least 1 frame. I think. Yeah, I'm not sure. Well, I guess it's 0, then it's 1, then it gets triggered, and the tree index goes back to 0. Right? Okay. So it needs to be, if I guess the tree index is 0, then. Yeah, that might be what I need to do. Anyway, I'm just trying to make sure that I'm not actually, yeah, that probably won't work either. Yeah, no. I need to make this work somehow. Let's see. Tree index MVC general, so it's tree index is 0, it runs through, sets it to 1. Let's see the trigger. I'm sorry, I was just printing this out. What, let me see. Is it actually, yeah, it is 1 at certain stages. This is very strange. I'm not sure what. This is a part of game development in which pretty much everyone participates in. Trying to figure out why something isn't working when it should be. It never actually. Yeah, this is part of it. This is just me not designing this correctly. Like I should have like a callback or something that runs after, you know, a dialogue is finished operating or something like that. I just have this kind of thrown together. I never bothered to fix it up, which is unfortunate. Let me see. Yeah, I don't understand quite why it's not working. Let's see. If it's greater than 1. Oh, because it's never greater than 1. Okay, well that explains that. Let's see. So then how does this thing work? Okay, so it just runs that later. Oh, that's why it works. Okay, so that's what's the issue there. I need to move this down here, and hopefully it should work. All right, now we're getting an issue. Here we go. Key error. Launcher. Okay, so I'm trying to access. Oh, the cell part. Okay, yeah, obj cell. Oh, I could just say cell part data attained. Yeah, that would work. All right, I think that's it. I think this should work. Yes, got the core. 80. All right, let me go ahead and make sure that this turn off the frame rate and stuff so we can actually see this. All right. Oh, this depends on the post processing scenes and vignette scenes existing for some reason. All right, so let's go ahead and try this out. Everything should be working. Okay, cool. I can go to the menu. Everything's there. All right, or rather, everything's not there. Just some basics. So we say here's a pedestal. We got an item used extensively. Do you want to purchase it? Yes. You got the core. Okay, it says it's purchased over there. If we visit it, it's not there. Oh, I think it's probably because it's not attained. It's like acquired. It's not attained, is it? It's acquired. It's not attained. It's acquired. I just said a new variable. It's acquired. Why did I? It's not attained. I think the last thing I'm going to do is make a little sprite that indicates what the item is. So it'll be like a sword up here. And this is really chugging. It'll be an item up here and an item up here, so I can see what it is. Yes, got the core purchased. Let's there it is. Yes, let's equip it. Woo! I'm out of here. I'm too good for you. Yeah. Actually, oh no. All right. Okay. All right. So it's working. Everything's working. Everything's working correctly. Yes. Whew. All right. Well. Oh yeah. Last thing. I need to put the sprite on there. Put the sprite of each item on the pedestal so you can see what it is. I'd like to have a little animation of like holograms or something, but I don't want to animate that and put that on there. Well, putting the animation in here isn't too hard. It's just woot woot. Yes, indeed. Woot 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 indeed. Yeah, I just don't want to have to do that right now. So let's go ahead and set up this little sprite system. Each pedestal will have its own sprite, so I guess it doesn't matter. We'll just make a new sprite here. We'll call this pedestal sprite or SPR, but we're going to add a new sprite, a new plane, and we'll, just for the sake of the argument, say this is a pistol. We'll put it like there. Pistol, we'll parent it to our object, and we'll call this the item SPR. Doesn't need to be physics enabled or anything. We're going to add this to the resources group. All right, so that should be everything there. We just need to make this, we'll use a variable to identify it. We could also use the name of the item SPR to identify it, but we're going to just go with the variable name. Let me answer these questions real quick. Like one robot would use saw waves. Huh. Yeah. I hope there are cheat codes. I'd have to program them in. That, you know, I'd like to have to, yeah. That'll be interesting to have, but feel for Metroidvanias, it's out of place. Cheats are better for beat 'em ups or Contra S games. Just my thought. Oh yeah. I mean, a cheat is for a for a beat 'em up or something like that. I guess it would make sense. But for Metroidvania, or you know, a cheat code would just basically be 100% save, like having everything at the beginning of the game, as opposed to like having extra lives or extra health. Well, actually, there is extra health in the game, so extra health and extra energy would probably be things that you could have. What this game needs is difficulty setting. I always play new games at the highest difficulty setting. I mean, I don't want to just take the easy way out of like having plus, you know, 50 attack on the enemies and minus 50 health on you. Like, I don't want that kind of route. Although I guess that is what the difficulty setting would be for. It would be like, you know, maybe upping the frequency enemies attack or shoot, upping the damage of enemy attacks, lowering your health, I think the hard mode on Cave Story makes you start at like 3 or 4 HP. I think there are health ups, but there are only 1 health point each. So it's like you really, if you like wanted to beat the game, you really have to be good. So maybe I could do something like that, where it's a normal mode and a hard mode, where it's just like extremely difficult. Maybe things cost a little more. You have a lot less health. You have a lot less energy and a lot more weapon, a lot more powerful enemies too. All right, so that's basically that. I just need to go ahead and set up this sprite thing real quick. How am I if SPR? Okay, yeah, that's how I'm. There we go. Yeah, I really don't have to. Loon, are you playing on keyboard? The symbol that appears above the item is the Xbox A and not a mouse. That would confuse players. You're right. I am playing on keyboard. You can play on the keyboard or on the Xbox controller. I have to make a system. I have the system set up so that I can detect if you're playing with a mouse and a assumed keyboard versus a 360 controller. If you press control on the 360 controller, the game will detect that. If you press a mouse button, the game will detect that. I guess I should make it so that if you press the keyboard key corresponding to movement or something, it'll detect that. So it does that, and it'll hide the mouse cursor, the reticule, when you play on the joystick, and it'll show it if you press, the mouse button. So I need to basically follow it up and like replace the A interact button with the E interact key. But I haven't done that yet. But you're right. I have to fix that. But this is in alpha. The game's not finished yet, so it's not even close. So wait until it's almost done before you complain about stuff missing. I'm kidding, of course. Okay. Yeah. So this last thing. We need to see for. Hey, it doesn't even. obj.children recursive item SBR. I guess actually it's item SBR like that. I think it is. Let me see. Yeah. Okay, so we say okay, so we say if obj sell. So basically, if you have a part to sell, then this. So basically, the process is you have something to sell. Okay, yeah. If obj sell is something, then this is the sell part. If not sell part dot attained or acquired, then you can purchase it. If you have acquired it, then you can't purchase it anymore. And we'll say obj dialog equals it's a blank pedestal. We'll make, and we'll say obj item spr dot visible or false. Let's make the I want to be fancy. Let's make the item float around. I guess it should be .z equal obj.world position .z plus, what do we have here? What's the difference? It's okay, plus 0.5 times, or plus 0.5 plus we'll say 0.5 times I need the time class, or wait, oh, I already have one. Global game dot time. All right. Global game dot. I can't remember if I think I have a time variable. Yeah, I have a variable here that constitutes time. That gets paused when the game pauses and stuff. Okay. Why is it? Oh, I see. Yeah. All right. I think that might be it, everyone. I might have a shop. I might have a shop system running. That might be it. No, it is not. Okay. I mean, immediately didn't work. Immediately. It might work. That might be it. No, it isn't. Let's see. Don't need this to be dynamic. Make sure that all this stuff is not non-collision that we don't need. Okay. Let's see. I don't think I saw any issues here. Oh wow, never mind. Wait, what? Okay, I think I might have an issue, or I might have made a mistake here. Let me see. Yeah, I might have made a mistake here. When I changed the physics type of one of those objects, it might have screwed some things up. Let me see. Okay, yeah, it was when I changed the information. Okay. All right. Let me see if there's anything else. I don't think the item sprite is showing up. Why is that invisible? Okay. Let me see if I can figure out why this isn't showing up. Show up. Okay, I have a theory here. Let's see. I don't need to have this here. Yeah, I have a theory. Let me see if I can properly conceptualize why this isn't working. Sometimes things like this happen and you just gotta walk them down, walk the issue down. Let's see, not trying to complain. I know you have a lot on your to-do list. Yep. I know you're not complaining. I'm just making a joke. Making a joke. In BD. Okay, so right there we see the items spawn, but then they get destroyed. What's making them disappear? What's making them disappear? That's the question. They're there and then they're not. What's making them disappear? It's not my code, because I commented out the NPC general part, so that's not it. Let's see, it's not parented to anything incorrectly. Yeah, this is a little bit strange. This is a little bit strange indeed. I know that it's there, but it's not showing up. Not invisible. Not because it's so far back. See, this is, again, one of the advantages of having 3D. I can, you know, see this in 3D to see if there's anything wrong happening. Is it popping off? Is it jumping away? And like, what exactly is causing this? I mean, I thought it had something to do with something. All right, let me just go ahead and cut all this out. Make sure it's not something in my code it's something in my code that's causing the issue. Okay, that's always nice to know. All right, well then it's probably something relatively simple, and I just keep overlooking it. Oh, well there it is. You see that, guys? You see that? After all of that work, item position dot world position dot X, it should be Z. It was pushing this thing to like whatever this thing is on the Z axis. It was moving it all the way over there on the X axis. Of course, yeah. All right, that explains it. That is the issue. All right, there we go. Look at that. That's not what we want it to happen. Never mind. That's not that's not correct either. It's supposed to be math.sign. There we go. And we'll multiply that by pi, so it floats like it makes a bob per second. That's the concept. It's just bobbing too much. We'll multiply it by, wait a second. I guess that's about right, yeah. Multiply it by 0.1. That means it's going to be 0.2, yeah. All right. Whew. Oh, I almost just forgot. We need to change it to be the sprite. We need to change the sprite to match the match everything. So what we're gonna do is obj item sprite that replace mesh. We need to replace the mesh with, well, I guess actually I need to do it over here if there's something to sell. And we need to say if sell part end, not sell part that acquired, just in case for some reason I don't assign a pedestal a cell, it will just basically not have an item. Okay, so we say we need to replace the mesh of the sprite, the item sprite, with an item. So now how do we designate that? I have sprites in each class, but not all of the time. Alright, what I'm going to do is just this little trick, I guess. I'm going to say item SPR equals sell part dot sprites dot keys. We're going to make a list of this. Basically, I don't care what particular animation or sprite it gets. It just needs to get one. So we're going to make a list of the keys that we use to access the sprites, and then we're going to replace it with sell part dot sprites item SPR 0. I think that should work. Let me see. That didn't work. Request name shield did not match any mesh proxy. Let me see. What am I missing here? Attack, okay. That's right. Oh, it's shield. Oh, okay, yeah, it's shield like, okay, I got it. So it's gonna be plus self-part.sprites item SPR 1. So it's gonna basically be the first possible, and you can't do that unless I do it intentionally. Come on, Python, you're better than this. And wait, oh, I just wrapped this entire thing. That's not right. I need to wrap this part. Okay, I think. Let me there. I think that should be it. I'm super sloppy with my coding, as you can see. There it is, everyone. Straight up Kirby. What do you got to say? I just need him to animate when he's talking, because he's so big. I have to animate his talking animation for him. But yeah, that's basically it, and it's not working again. Why? Tree index doesn't exist. Why doesn't tree index exist? Oy, Gavolt. Let's see. I don't even know what that really means per se. Float off. So far, so good. Yep. Yeah, float off to this. They're going to their home world. That's that. Yeah, it's just the parts just floating off into space. Okay, so the last issue that we're running into here is that. Oh, I didn't have to uncomment that. I have to write code that works for it to work. That's the key. Yes, I want the shield. I got shield. I have to name that a little better. What about this thing? It's a blank pedestal. Indeed, it is. Atomic core, battle-tested missile launcher. Okay, cool. That costs 20 scrap. Do we want to purchase it? No, we don't want to purchase it. On second thought, yes, we want to purchase it. Of course, we want to purchase it. We got atomic core. Let's equip them. Shield over. Oh wait. Shield on the right button and atomic core on the left. Yes. Here we go. So the shield is item that I made a little while ago. The nature of the shield is basically you hold it down, you use some energy, and it protects you. I was not supposed to, I wasn't supposed to happen. He's just sliding up there. Yeah, that's the nature of the shield, is that it basically protects you from damage. I guess it doesn't protect you from touch damage from melee enemies like that ram into you. I have to kind of tweak exactly how it works, but it does work for yeah, ranged weapons like that. It's not perfect. I know that the collision box is kind of off, but it works okay. And yeah, so shop's working. Great, cool, nice, sweet. Got that done. I'm gonna need that in the game, so I'm glad to have gotten it finished. And it was pretty much the amount of time it probably would have taken to do it normally, except I wouldn't have been talking. So it probably, oh yeah, I spent a lot of time talking about like Mega Man Legends and stuff. But yeah, overall it worked. I'm glad to have finished. Did it show how knowledgeable I am when I have no clue what's going on in no coding? Yeah, it shows how knowledgeable you are when you have no clue what's going on. That's everyone who's new to anything will be not knowledgeable about anything that's going on. And my workflow, I know, is not really the best or the most conventional, but it works. It works. The shop is working. We can tell the shopkeeper to sell different things. Everything's working out okay. All right. Whoo! All right. Well, thank you very much, you guys, for watching. Nice work. Thank you very much, Pablo. Yeah, if there's anything anybody wants to, I guess, ask, I'll stick around for a little while, a couple minutes until 9 p.m. where I am, answering any questions, any additional questions rather, about Gearend or about game development that I've been working with or anything like that. Bye. All right. See ya. Excuse me. Yeah, I'm glad to have that working. It works pretty well. That's pretty much all I could ask, is that it works okay, that it's effective. Yeah, I guess that's okay. I don't want to stick around till 9 p.m. I'm tired. My throat is sore. I'm done. All right. Well, thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions, though, you can leave them, tweet me your questions or email them at solarmoon@gmail.com. And I'll see if I can answer them. Leave a question on the comments in the YouTube section. People who are watching on YouTube, I appreciate you guys watching on YouTube. I appreciate you guys watching on Twitch. Yeah, thank you. People who are watching on YouTube, if you leave a comment, I do read them. I do appreciate them. I don't always get a chance to comment back, and I apologize on that. I would like to comment on everybody's comment and respond, but that's not always possible, depending on just the volume of volume of comments, and just how I'm feeling about the day. I might not really wish to go into and respond to someone who might be asking about something. Any idea for another stream? I don't know. I have an idea for a boss. The first boss, I had this idea for a boss. I had a boss who was this big hulking dude. It was a knight. I still want to do something with this dude. This is just, oh man, I want to do something with that guy. He just seems so unique. But the idea that I had was for the boss to be this dude, this rather giant dude. This is the old version. This was the new version. I don't know if I'm going to use him for at least the first boss. It really could be kind of improved in terms of this area. I want it to be kind of pointier, so I need to kind of design that. But that's the idea for him, is going to be kind of this big hulking knight enemy. Not really sure if I'm gonna go with that, because for one thing, it's gonna be kind of hard to like animate everything, even if I go with bones and stuff. But even beyond that, I have an idea for another enemy, for another boss that would really fit, I think, in line better with the first area. That's kind of like naturey and stuff like that. I think it would work well. So maybe I'll do a pixel art stream where I show me drawing that boss, maybe after I've finished its behavior. That probably won't work very well. I'm not sure. I have to think about it. Are you going to do another Sunbox stream? I can. The thing about Sunbox streams is that it's hard to, for me, musically, it's hard to come up with new stuff. Sometimes I'll just mess around some more and mess around some more, and it'll just be finished. Like it's second nature. But then other times it's like, okay, guys, I'm Solar Loon. We're gonna make a song. Okay, guys, thanks for watching. It's like, I don't think anyone wants to watch that. So basically, I have no guarantee that if I go with a Sunbox stream, it will actually like turn out well. That's kind of the problem that I have with Sunbox or making music, is that I don't have control over my end result. Like, unlike with pixel art, where I can just work at it for an extra 5 minutes or 10 minutes until I have the end result. I can't do that with the music. You can't really massage a song into a direction, because it's like, well, if your chords aren't set up right, and your percussion isn't set up right, and your melody isn't set up right, then you have to start over basically. So it's kind of hard. Like, it's easier for me to do other things, on a stream. Coding, as long as I have the concept, I can just like I did, work through it, just walk through it, power through it, and at the end of the day, I've come up with something that works and works effectively. Whereas with Sunbox, it's a little more difficult, because it's like I have to make kind of decisions as they come. There is no right decision, except like I'll know the right decision when I make it, and if I don't make the right decision, then I'll know. So it's like, oh man, that didn't turn out so well, or that song wasn't so great, or whatever. So I don't know. I do want to do more Sunbox stuff, but it's kind of difficult to get it down. And thank you, Veneration. I thank you. Yeah, I love Jetline. I appreciate that. That was a fun little track. Like, that was like, I was just kind of experimenting, and then I spent more time on it and more time on it, and then the next day I spent more time on it and more time on it, or something like that. Maybe it was a day or two, and it ended up like really good. I was like, man, that's really good. But then, like, if I wanted to like kind of duplicate that or try that again, I don't think I could do it. Like, I don't think I could like set down to do that again, like knowing that it will turn out well. Like, I could try, but I don't think I would have the knowledge. Like, I would have the confidence that I can handle it, that I will make a song that's just as good. And I don't know. So yeah, maybe I'll do another Sunbox stream later on, and yeah, I think it could be good. Even if I do Sunbox, even if it turns out bad, it could be fun to watch and listen to. Okay, well, yeah, that ended up being 9 p.m. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. I've been Solar Loon, and this has been making a shop in Gearend. Man, that was 2 hours. My goodness. Well, yeah, it was effective. An effective 2 hours. All right, thank you very much for watching. You guys stay safe and have fun making games and stuff. All right, see ya.